Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of MattK Reacts Extra Geeky. For today's episode, I'm going to do something a little different today. I'm actually going to have a guest here with me, and we're going to be talking about something really cool that a lot of nerds and geeks really do like, especially when it comes to music. Today, we're going to be talking about Britney Spears, and why this particular guest likes Britney Spears, loves Britney Spears, what's inspirational, and also what it means to me as well. So sit back and enjoy, and let's get the show started. My amazing guest here, which I'm about to introduce to you today, this is going to be really cool because it's my first guest, and we are both very excited about this. So folks, I want to introduce you to someone who's very special to me, means so much to me in every way. My amazing husband, Hannibal. So Hannibal, thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome.
Well, today, Hannibal, we're going to be talking about something that you are an overly and massive fan of, Britney Spears. So if you don't mind, before we get into that, I just want to ask a little bit about you. So just tell us, who you are, where you were raised, and what brought you here to me.
Okay. Well, my name is Hannibal, and now Hannibal Keller because I'm your husband. And I was raised in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Oh, what brought me to Oregon was you. Love, to fall in love, and to get married to you.
And how did we meet?
We met on Facebook.
I know, right? Gosh, I remember when at the time you messaged me on Facebook. I was getting ready to move into. I was in a different city, and I was moving to another city, and you messaged me, and you were talking about. You just were saying hi and whatnot, and at the time I wasn't looking for a relationship, but the more we talked, the more I realized that I was really connecting with you on so many things, and it kind of blew up from there,
When I first was talking to you, you sounded like someone from the 1800s.
Yeah.
Well, not 1800s, just the vampire, the stat vibe. And that I definitely found very attractive in you.
Yeah, I know. I remember when we first had
And I just felt immediately at home with you.
So do I. Not every day I do, but I remember when we first had our first voice call, when we actually heard each other's voices.
That's when you sounded like you were a vampire.
that kind of that 1800s kind of Victorian, like hello, how are you doing, kind of.
Yes.
For those who don't know, we love every year we watch. We make a tradition now. We watch the Twilight movies just because we love to watch them and laugh.
Which I still do love them.
We do love them, but we also, we know they're bad, but they're entertaining bad.
Yes,
and we
exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how I met you. Is we spoke from there, and it just went off from there. And he just, I remember your Facebook picture at that time. You had that glossy hat. You had it on backwards, and you had this smirk on your face, but it was a really sexy, very kind of
Well, with you, it was because I could tell in your picture that you were a kind soul, that you were just a beautiful person.
Oh,
I could tell just from your picture that I was and that's what I needed to be around.
Oh, and you just were just.
Well, that's what anybody should surround themselves with.
Oh yeah. So today, my beautiful husband, we're going to talk about something that is very close to you.
Yeah.
So tell me, let's start at the very beginning. When did you first hear or see or know of anything that was Britney Spears?
Love at first sight.
Oh wow, I know that feeling too. Because me. But no, that's really cool to hear that was the first time you saw Britney, was that commercial for "Hit Me Baby One More Time."
Mm-hmm.
For me, when I first heard about Britney was because it was on the radio so much back in the day, was "Oops, I Did It Again," and I heard that over and over and over. It was on the radio, it was in commercials, it was in movies, it was everywhere. And so was her other song, "Hit Me Baby One More Time." Those were just I think that was what really got her really going, was those two songs, I think.
That is what really.
For you, when was the moment though you fell in love with Britney Spears' music and style? Was it that song, or was there something else that really was I am in love with this type of music and style.
Well, I mean, just as a kid and like with Big One More Time and Oops, I Did It Again stuff, it was just, oh my god, I love Britney, and just it was like a kid's way. But I think where it was just where I realized this is a legendary performer was her album Blackout.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I thought so anyways, and like In the Zone, that was the album before that. But just the fact that it was each album was completely different than the last album, and even vocally in the way she'd just do her voice and the sounds, and it would just get more not only with the times but even more towards the future. Because now if Slave for You came out right now, that would be huge on the radio.
Oh yeah,
like it's what? How do you say that? Where it's like past its time.
Oh, it's ahead of its time.
Ahead of its time. She constantly just came out with music that's ahead of its time. Like she still does all the time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And just, I personally, even though before I met you, I wasn't really a huge fan of Britney, but I respected her because someone who could sing and dance like that and make it sound good deserves any kind of praise. Because I mean, it's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I would ask you, so is that was the moment that just made you fall in love with her? Because each album just got better.
Each album, just the dancing, everything about her, just the performance, the facial expression is what I really found intriguing by her. The way how she did those looks and like the fierce looks,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I practiced the most. And just the dancing, everything, her performing, her song style, and her as a person.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's really intriguing about Britney Spears is you could tell she's a kind soul, like a good, kind person who's
She is.
a very humble, kind person.
And it's unfortunate for those who've been following the news, and if you're Britney fans, you know this way better than anyone else. There's the whole thing with the conservatorship, and even both before and during that, and even now, the media still kind of treats her very unfairly. And she really just is like, look, I want to be treated like a human being, for crying out loud.
But she should be treated like a human being.
No, and she should.
Anybody should be treated like a human being. Like, to where it's like, it doesn't matter if she was a performer. Like, performers are people, and like, she's a person.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more, because I really do feel like the media, they were just so cruel to her, and it's like anything she did.
No, not just the media. The world was cruel to Britney Spears, and there still are. Now she has more of them on her back, but people, everybody in America especially should be apologizing to Britney Spears.
No, I agree 100%, because I remember when there'd be tabloids this is back in the mid-2000s when she was heavily in the conservatorship, and they would take pictures like, oh, look at this, she's drinking and picking up her kids, and it's like, they take a picture of her holding probably a coffee cup, for all we know. These photographers, they plan their shots just right.
And the sad part is what makes it even more ridiculous is the only reason why people were believing it was because she didn't want to dress up and have foundation on 24/7 and have this appearance. She literally would just have her hair in a bun, and she just was like being a regular girl because she's a human being.
Yeah.
So just because she wanted to dress regularly, people are like, see, she's nuts.
Exactly, because I think it's really unfair that if someone wants to let their hair down, I mean, it's like when you go to a job, when you go to work, you do your work. When you come home, you want to relax, let your hair lay down. You don't need to be like that 24/7. But the world was saying, no, you have to be this 24/7.
Exactly, trying to make her exactly what she didn't want to be. And what people need to realize is that's why they put her in the conservatorship, is because, she probably, I think in 2007, didn't want to do it anymore. And that's why they trapped her.
And so I remember when a little sidetrack here, but when you first went to visit me in Portland, which is one of our favorite memories.
Yes.
And I think it was the first night or the next night I think it was night 2, because you were there for 3 nights. On night 2, you said, I want to show you this documentary about Britney, because I knew a little bit about the conservatorship, but I didn't know as much as then until you showed me this documentary. And there's quite a few. I think there's like 2 that really touch on this. And I know Britney herself has just recently said, well, those documentaries I'm not a big fan of, and I'll get into that another time. But those documentaries...
And real quick about that, how fans are getting upset that Britney's upset about those documentaries. It's like, once again, you have to realize she's a person. So when you're watching something that's just, when people are trying to say they know this or know that about you, that's going to be frustrating when you're not even a part of it and it's talking about you. Anybody would get annoyed by that.
Oh, absolutely. That would drive me insane.
Literally.
But what's good about that documentary is it gave me, someone who didn't know that much, it gave me the knowledge, like, oh wow, this conservatorship is horrible. Like, why is she still in it? Why is it even legally okay? And then the documentary goes into explaining, why it's, well, I wouldn't say okay, but how they were able to get away with it. And thank God she got out of that conservatorship. And biggest thanks to also you, the fans, the Free Britney movement. I think you guys are part of the reason why she was able to really get this noticed by the media. So it would force
these... it was because of her fans. Well, it was really because of whichever anonymous lawyer who first went on that podcast and said that that Britney was in danger. That's what started the Free Britney movement, because somebody saw them put her in the psych ward of the mental institution without her consent.
Oh yeah.
And that's where it started. And then the fans were like, all right, we're figuring this out now.
Oh yeah. And I will tell you this, folks, and I know she's been on social media the last several months and she's told us quite a bit, but I told Hannibal this too. As soon as that book of hers comes out, we're going to be the first ones to get it, because we want to read that book.
Yes, I want to read. Who doesn't want to read that book?
Because I want to know all what happened. Then I can be like, wow, those people were horrible.
I have a feeling people are going to get angry. It's going to be a very angry, like, how dare those people?
Oh, yeah. Oh, anyway. Well, let's get back to our show. I know we kind of started about that, but this is good to know, because this shows how much you care about Britney also as a person, not just the artist.
No, well, I didn't really have a mom or dad that was there at all for me, so I looked up to her like a mom.
Exactly.
So I know that she's not my mom or she's not a part of it, but I mean, I had to look up to somebody, and she did a lot for me. She taught me a lot without actually communicating with me, but yeah.
And I think a lot of people feel that way too. I think people felt like that Britney was a sister or a mom growing up,
especially because of her humble personality and her southernness and how beautiful of a soul is. It's like you want to be around that, and she really is a beautiful soul.
Gotcha. And I feel the same way too, because the more you showed me more about Britney, the more I appreciate her even more. Like, the more things I always ask you, I say, hey babe, what's the latest on Britney? And sometimes it's her just saying, oh, I just miss my son, or something like that. But then there's some serious ones, like where I remember she went off on her sister, Jamie Lynn. But she had every right to, because when she explained what was going on, and then Jamie Lynn, if you guys saw that horrible interview that she did, where she just kept saying, I don't know. I mean, it goes to show you that even her own family just was trying to control her and just, like, had no respect for her. Just was horrible. But I'm really glad, though, that she's finally free of that, and I wish nothing but the best and happiness for Britney and for Sam, because she just got married to Sam, and just want the best for them. I know she said, as of right now, she doesn't want to go back into music, but we're really hoping, crossing fingers, that if she does, and I agree with you, you said this too, if she ever goes back into music, it's going to be like large.
It is, and it's gonna. I want to see this Britney, like the non-controlled Britney, like what that album's gonna sound like.
Oh, just imagine what she'll do now that she's no longer being forced to do stuff, to be free and do her own thing with the music.
It'd be actually very emotional.
Oh, tell me about it. Oh, now I'm gonna ask you one more question here before we hit break. What of her music videos? Yeah. Your eyes got big. Oh, of her music, just think music videos. So we're thinking visual. Which music video is your absolute favorite music video that she did? It doesn't have to be your favorite song, but just like in terms of visuals, like what's your favorite music video?
I'm like, I don't know. That's really hard. There's so many. No, not serious. I don't know. Work Bitch, I love the song more than I love the video, but I love the song more than the video. Like, Work Bitch might be my favorite Britney song. I know that sounds crazy out of all of her amazing songs. Mm-hmm. But, video, I don't know.
That's okay.
What would be like the most fiercest dancing one? Like, not even dancing, just fiercest one. Well, I guess I would actually have to say Womanizer, because now, especially the fact to know what she was going through and to still just be strong for her kids.
Yeah.
And then that already had an impact on me, because that was her comeback. It was such a huge thing when Britney's comeback with, remember, the circus and everything, like, that was a huge thing. So I guess I'd have to say Womanizer, because of the experience and because of now knowing how strong of a woman she was at that time, and especially just in her early 20s. Mm-hmm. So Womanizer.
Wow, Womanizer. For me, because I know you showed me Womanizer was good, and I did like the visuals. For me, though, and this is the one I think everyone knows. For me, I think my favorite music video of hers was Toxic and Circus. I think those are my favorite ones in terms of visuals. But definitely, of course, in Work Bitch, I mean, you see me always dancing to it and trying to get you to sing it with me. But I think, for me, it have to be Toxic. Because Toxic, when it came out at the time, just the visuals on it and because it's like because it was telling a story. And to me, I was really into Super Spies back in the day. So for me, I was like, this is actually a cool music video.
Toxic was the song that even if you didn't like Britney Spears, you just loved Toxic.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I knew people when I was in college, and the song had been out for a while, but I was in college, and I had some friends who they despise Britney Spears' The Passion, but they all love Toxic and they love the music video. And that's why I think the people who are super Britney haters, but then they have one or two songs of hers they like, I think it's because deep down they actually do like her stuff. They just don't want to.
They're just jealous.
They are jealous. Yes, they are indeed. Well, we've got more, babe, but we're going to take a short break from our sponsor. When we come back, we're going to talk about which ones you don't like. Ooh, yeah. Hey folks, are you looking to start a podcast but can't seem to find the right app or software program? Well, I recommend Anchor. Anchor is a software program that's not only easy to use, but it's also free. And not only does audio, but allows video uploads as well. I just used it and I love it. It's pretty simple to use. It has a nice software. It has a nice user interface. And also, did I mention it's free? Anchor is also very important to use whenever you're trying to get out there, especially if you're an up-and-coming podcaster, or if you're just trying to do podcasting and just don't want all the hassle. If you're interested, please definitely check out the link below and try Anchor. Oh, and did I mention it's free? You won't be disappointed, so come on down and try it. That's Anchor. And we're back. And, yeah, well, so this has actually been for me, this has been a fun podcast. And I'm not just saying this because I'm holding the mic recording. I realized I wish I could have more guests on here.
It is actually fun doing it.
Yeah, I know we were a bit nervous in the beginning there, but then once we started getting comfortable talking about Britney, especially you, it's like, yeah.
It's fun. It's fun when it's a good topic.
Yes.
And a Britney topic is a good topic.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, guys. But with all good things, there's always that one song or that one music video or that one outfit or maybe that one thing that someone says you're like, ooh, man, I wish you wouldn't do that. Like for me, with Michael Jackson, 90% of his songs are flawless, but there's one song he did, I don't remember the name of it, but he did it in the 2000s, and it was just, I don't remember what it was. I think it was it Scream? Where he did it with his sister? Was it that one? I don't remember. There's one music video he did where I was like, ugh, Michael, that's not you. So, I leave the question off to you, babe. What song or album or music video do you not like of Britney's? The one where you kind of go, I'd rather skip that one.
Well, actually, I won't even get in trouble by Britney fans, my fellow Britney fans, for saying this because we all know this. It's her album, Britney Jean.
Yeah, I've been told by that, not just by you, but other people have said that too.
But it's also because that's when she was the most controlled by the conservatorship, and it's not even, you could tell it's not Britney. Britney's singing in it, but it's also that Maya Marie who's singing the background vocals, but she's singing way more in that than it is Britney. And we don't know that for a fact, we only know it with Britney, but we do know that, it was for just them saying, you're in this conservatorship, we're doing this Vegas residency, they're just telling her what to do. You could just tell on that album that's not a soulful Britney Spears. So
of that whole album, and for listeners, really quick, for listeners who aren't sure, the Britney Jean album is, go ahead.
Work Bitch is on that album, though, so that song is awesome. That's the only one, and I kind of like Perfume. There's two or three decent ones, but
gotcha.
The album, no.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm sure there's maybe one or two songs on that album. I know a lot of fans. I know not just you. I've heard on YouTube other Britney fans who have said the same thing. Where Britney Jean, they just roll their eyes like, "Oh, we don't know about that one," and about the backup singer who was singing for most of those songs, the Mariah. What's her name?
Maya Marie, I think.
Maya Maria. Okay. And yeah, it's just, and that shows you that's what happens when artists let in this case it was a conservatorship, but other artists I've seen it happen to them too, where they let the production companies or their managers take a bit more control, saying, no, why don't you do it this way? And sometimes it works. In this case, it does not work because it was a conservatorship, that's why. But also, when you take away an artist's ability to really express how they want to do an album or a song or a stage, or like in the documentary, there was one time where she wanted to wear a certain jacket, and they said, nope, you can't wear that. It would have looked awesome if she got to wear that camo jacket. Was it a camo jacket?
For what?
It was in one of the documentaries where one of the people said that she wanted to wear.
Oh yeah, there's so many times. Yeah,
it's just so much control. That's why I told you, babe, when you do get there, you pick your style, not me. You pick your style. You be you. You pick what you want.
I will.
Yeah,
I will.
Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And I would say this, just to kind of, I would say, what would you tell the younger generation of us, our Gen Zers out there? What would you tell them about Britney? If you could sum it up in like a paragraph, like what is it you would say about Britney, and what is it they should be listening for?
Just seriously listen to her music, and like it's impossible for you not to bop and jam, and also just appreciate her. She really is an excellent artist. She's a legend. I don't think I even need to say these things.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much of a legend she is. But it is good for if there is any Gen Zers out there listening, just really appreciate her. And this woman went through a lot for this career, so she deserves nothing but respect.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And for me, you said it better than me. I just would tell the Gen Zers, and I know on this podcast I tend to throw shade at you guys a little bit, but it's only because I'm just doing it out of fun. I'm not trying to get at you guys, because I do believe you guys, if you're given the right tools, and you really open up your minds, I think you guys can really turn things around. Like, in fact, Hannibal, you told me that when you do make it, your first album, it's called The Purpose of a New Generation, and I believe that, and I really hope that this generation remembers this situation with Britney and say, okay, if we have another person who becomes famous like Britney, don't treat her like the way we did back in the 2000s. Treat her with respect, treat her with dignity, treat her with humility. Just because someone's having a bad day, don't assume, oh, they're nuts, off to the nut house. Like, no, everybody has a bad day. I had a mental freak out. You had a mental breakdown.
Everybody's nuts.
More so now because of post-COVID.
Even before COVID, everybody's nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
COVID just exposed everybody's nutsness.
Oh, tell me about it. Oh, gosh, 2020. Before COVID, we thought, everyone, at least in the gay community, we were like, oh, 2020, it's going to be our year. And then COVID happened. Through all this stuff, I do believe either Britney herself or another person like her is going to show up. And I really encourage you guys to just remember, treat people with dignity. Treat people with respect. And you'll see them give you a good show. If you treat them with love, they're going to treat you with love back.
Exactly. Like, that's literally the best way how you just described all that. I don't even have anything else to add to that.
Well, in conclusion, I will say this. Final bonus question. In terms of dancing, what's your favorite dance style that she does that you like?
Like Slave For You. Like, all of them. But I love the Slave For You dance. I think everyone loves the Slave For You dance. I like to pull off the Slave For You dance very well.
Oh, I know. I've seen you. I've seen you dancing. That's right, folks. He can sing and dance. So I have a sexy husband here. It's amazing, and I love it. And I love him every day.
And I love you every day.
Yeah, and I'm thank you for being on my podcast.
You're welcome.
Oh, you're so lovely. You're so beautiful. Well, folks, that's all we have for today. And thanks again. And as always, you guys stay wonderful out there and beautiful, because you're beautiful on the inside, and that's what matters. And as always, I'm Matt here at MattK Reacts Extra Geeky. I'll see you guys next time.